How's it going, friends and family of the internet? Welcome to the Real AF TV podcast, show about fishing and random takes from Atlanta 10,000 lakes. I'm one of your hosts, Josh LaBaw.
And I am Tim Wagner.
Tim, I had a genuine question. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're going to talk about, I'll do something we don't usually do. We're going to talk about smallmouth bass, and then we're going to talk about would you rather in the random take. But what I wanted to ask is this too soon to talk about fish and just put it in the fishing part? Or what is this weather going to do? Because you said you were going up north this weekend.
Yeah.
So what's this dip in temperatures here for the last 2 weeks that have been happening in Minnesota? What's that going to do?
Nothing.
For how you're going to fish this weekend? Anything?
Nothing. Nah, this shouldn't really do anything to the water temps with the dip in temperature. But if the rain temperature was colder, then you might be seeing some stuff, because word on the street is the lake I'm going to is 6 inches higher than it was 2 weeks ago.
What?
6
What the fuck, dude?
Bro.
We barely got any rain down here. I mean,
Isn't that wild?
In the last 2 weeks, we've only got 3 inches of rain down here. What the fuck is happening up there?
I don't know, dude. 6 inches. And if the rain was cold, then the water temperature might have actually dropped. So that might change some stuff.
Sure.
But
more than likely not. Is that what
it shouldn't change things enough. It's still this time of year where there's still the sun's out and it's still heating up the water. I would assume that even if it dropped a little bit, it's not going to change stuff too much.
Okay.
I think maybe some of the fish will be willing to go shallower in the early hours or late at night more than they were before, depending on which species you're talking. But because the water temperature might be a little bit cooler up closer, they might be moving up. But I don't think they're going to be moving from where they're at. It's too early. We're still in summer. We still got a couple of weeks before they start moving.
And the drop in air temperature hasn't been enough to really affect the water, more than likely. Because the sun's still warm as fuck. I mean, you go out in a black t-shirt still, and you're like, oh, well, I made it mix. Oh,
yeah.
Fuck.
I think they start noticing. I don't know this for sure, but I think they start noticing when the days get shorter too. They start understanding that there's more time with no sun.
Right.
As the water starts dropping, I think just a dip in temperature won't really cause them to move too much, but it dip in temperature when the days start getting shorter, then I think they start thinking about moving.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe they do start moving right now, but only slightly.
Yeah, it's again not enough to make you fish different. You're still gonna go out and try what you've been doing all summer.
Right. I'll try what I've been doing, and if it doesn't work, maybe I'll go a little bit. A lot of fish start moving to where they're in more gradual drop offs. And they'll start moving to the really steep ones when it gets colder. So maybe they just get a little bit closer to the steep drop-offs, but they're not going to be there yet. So maybe if I'm not catching them where I was a couple weeks ago, I just go a little bit closer, because maybe they started that move where they're just I don't know,
we'll see.
I don't want to be last in line. I don't want to get a bad spot at the drop off. So
no, I don't get a bad spot at the drop off. Oh, that's great. Yeah. All right, dude, let's jump into it. Oh, wait. I was behind on my cue. Fishing news. Let's jump in. I don't have a clickbait headline for this one like I do a lot of the times, but this is why we say check the regs. It's a running theme with the Real AF TV podcast and me and you, Tim.
Yep.
This is why we say check the regs. Remember, if you go over to YouTube, youtube.com/RealAFTV, remember real like fishing real, 2 E's in the middle. The link is in the description for the article from the Minnesota DNR. They're going to up the count on Mille Lacs for walleye.
Yeah.
They already did up the count.
Oh, yeah.
For walleye.
Yeah.
Originally planned regulation starting on August 16th. So when this comes out, it's not August 16th yet. So there you go. would have allocated or would have allowed anglers to keep one fish, one walleye, 21 to 23, or longer than 28.
Sorry, I laugh because we're talking about fish and you say one. There's a dude from a different country and he's speaking English, but he has a heavy accent and he keeps talking about fish and he's got a pound of fish and he's talking about how good of a deal it is. He just keeps going, 1 pound fish. When you said one, that's all I thought. That's why I giggled in my head. Like that plays
because that's what played in your head.
Yeah, he says something like very, very good deal, very, very something, 1 pound fish.
That's awesome. He's just that excited about it.
Yeah, he's calling them in. He's getting the deals. He's like, listen up, everybody. I got the deal of a lifetime over here in the market. He's getting them to buy it. That 1 pound of fish he's got. I'm sure he's got more than 1 pound. But I just pulled up the doc here so I could see.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what it said. Originally planned in August for August 16th, because if I remember right, they had shut down walleyes.
Yeah,
entirely, and so then they, it had been planned August 16th that they turn it back on, with the slot being 21 to 23, or one bigger than 28.
Yeah.
Now, anglers can harvest up to 2. Through November 30th, when they're going to go, back and reevaluate it as you start getting into the ice season. So they can take 2 walleyes now. Both fish can be 18 to 20 inches now.
Yeah.
Or one can be 18. Both fish can be 18 to 20 inches in length, or one can be 18 to 20 inches, and the other must be longer than 28. So they're lowering the sizes.
Must be longer than 28.
Yeah, and because that was the same still. You had your slot where it had to be 21 to 23. That was the original plan.
Yeah.
And then you could take one that was longer than 28.
So it's like a trophy. You can keep your trophy, or you can keep 2 eaters.
2 eaters, yeah. And they lowered the eater size from 21 to 18 and down to 20. So they put down the 18 to 20 because they're like, this is the eater range.
Yeah.
And so those 23-inch fish are safe this time. But,
I feel like you could give them another inch, like somewhere in there, like move it down to 17 or up to 21.
Yeah.
Seems wild that you just had those 2 inches, but whatever.
I get what you're saying.
It's just, I'm sure you can get it done. It sounds like people have really good luck out there catching a lot of the walleyes and stuff, but that's nice. It definitely, like, if you're trying to be conservative and you don't want a lot of people out there, taking too many. Yeah. One just seemed like way too little, like that's.
I agree.
That's 2 fillet for like you're trying to have a fish fry. You literally have to have everybody in your boat go out and catch one. Well, you don't have to have everybody catch one. It's 1 per person, but it's like, we want to have a fish fry. You all better get in the boat because
otherwise we can't get enough.
I need to have 7 of you.
Otherwise, the DNR is going to be like, all right, get out of here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But now you can keep 2. You can have 3 guys go out in the boat. You can bring back 6 fish.
Right.
6 fish in that slot limit. That's plenty of food for a decent amount of people. Because that's 18 to 20. That's a decent sized fillet. You don't have to cook those full fillets. You can cut those in strips or whatever you want to do.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That'll help you. But 2 fillets per person just seemed like, obviously that's more than you need per 1 person. 1 person doesn't need 2 full walleye fillets, but normally when you have a fish fry, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. You go out like crappie, you go out and you catch 15 crappie.
Right.
And you feed your whole family.
Right.
One person can do it.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, it's nice that they're moving that up, and it gives people more of a reason to go there too. I think a lot of people, like, you're having fun. Yeah, having fun catching them, but you're just like, I can only keep 1 though, and I kind of want to eat fish.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So now even if you're going by yourself, being able to bring home 2 18 to 20 inch walleye is still better than just one.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I agree, because now it's like if you bring home one 21 inch walleye, still good fish. Yeah. But you're trying to have, even if you're just trying to have a fish fry with your immediate family, you and your wife and your kid.
Yeah.
That's one fish that's not gonna, you're really gonna be cutting it slim on that. Like everybody getting a decent amount of fish.
And I think about, like, for myself, like even fishing on a lake that has a full regular limit, I go out and I catch one fish that's 18 to 20 inches. I'll keep it, I'll fillet it. And then somebody's just like, how'd you do it? And I'm like, I only caught one. It was a decent fish. I ate it, but it's only that one. You're like not excited about it.
Yeah.
And then in Mille Lacs, you're literally just being like, I can only keep one. It's that same attitude, but I caught 30. Only gonna keep one.
Right. But I kept the 21 incher. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yep. And I'm with you, because this is kind of what it says. The article said is that they had pretty high rates in the fall. So this has been last fall, right? Like not the upcoming fall, of course, it's the future. But they had pretty high catch rates in the fall. And they thought that it would keep up, and it didn't really do that. And so that's when they put in the other regs. And so I think, we already covered that one. I don't know what episode, but that was a while ago. And then we got that shitty spring where it was just like, it was just rain. I mean, it just rained like all fucking spring. And the catch and release that they had implemented, it just ended up being too much. Of the two together was too much restriction on it. And so they got back together and they came to this like, nope, August 1st, turn it on. Let's go. I think it was August 1st. Where the hell did I just read that? I'm looking through my notes and I'm not seeing it. Oh, yeah. August 1st.
Yeah,
it's in I didn't write it in the notes because it's in the fucking link. So yeah. Anyways, it's back up. So they literally turned that on 3 weeks early, pretty much.
Yep. And
changed it pretty good. But yeah, they were like bad weather, and that catch and release restriction just isn't. And here's where they said, this all led to a lower than expected harvest. Yeah. As of July 15th, only about 26% of the annual allowance had been harvested by state anglers. So they have 75%, 74% of the harvest still to pull out of Lake Mille Lacs. And it's up there. Summer ends the day this podcast comes out.
Oh, sure.
It's fall already up there the day this podcast comes out.
Right. Yeah.
I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I mean.
Yeah, no, I get it. I know what you're talking about. And I think that just goes to show like what we were talking about is kind of true. Like people are choosing to go to a different lake where they can harvest enough to have a fish fry or bring home something that's worth, especially if you're talking about like driving to a lake.
Right.
I'm going to drive so many hours. Part of it is you look at the cost of fish in a fish market, and I almost feel like justified when I go and I bring home my 5 fish, then I have like, $30, $40 worth of
I was going to say $30-$40 a fish that you just brought in, and you go, it only cost me $20 to drive here and home. I got to get away from home. I got to go fishing.
Yeah. I had fun providing for my family instead of just going and blowing this money. Like, it costed a little bit more money overall to go and do this.
Maybe not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm like,
I guess if you have to get a hotel and
I'm talking about everything as a whole, like your rod and your reel and your boat and like
if it's okay, I got you. Yeah, because if you factor that in, but someone like you gets hundreds and hundreds of hours out of a fishing rod and reel, and I definitely get my money's worth out of that shit.
Right. Plus I break them. Yeah.
Right.
So, but I haven't broken a lot of rods. Ironically, I just did the other week.
Oh, fuck.
So now our buddy Sam hooked us up with fishing rods as wedding gifts.
Those Fenwicks,
and you broke yours, and now I broke mine.
Oh, fuck.
I know. I was trying to bobber fish too, so there's no reason I should have. And I was like going to grab a minnow out of the bucket, and I put my hand on the side, and the side was wet, and my hand just like slipped off, and I put my knee right into the rod.
Oh.
Yeah, it sucks.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. And I was like all set up, ready to go, and then I snapped in half, and I go, well, I'm not bobber fishing, I guess. I'm not gonna worry about retying that. I'm just gonna go and like grab my jig or do whatever.
Oh.
So
sorry, Sam. We appreciated those rods. We made use of them. That's for sure.
I know. I feel bad, dude. It's a great rod. The Fenwick Eagle.
Yeah.
The new Eagles are dope, though. They did do an update, so I plan on replacing it with the same rod.
Nice.
But
I did mine.
Yeah.
I had to go with the 7 though. I think he gave us 7.5, and I think I had to go down to a 7.
Okay.
Because the size he had got for us was out of stock.
Oh yeah, that happens sometimes. I got so many rods that I'll wait for the exact one I want. I'll order it or wait for it to go on a deal. I've been watching them because they're the Eagles. A lot of times they'll like pair up with like the Fluger President or whatever. And sometimes the way they put those two together, I'll end up getting the President for like $20. And like, I'm going to take that deal every day.
Right.
So
nice.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that stuff, but yeah, I plan on trying to make it into like a grill spatula or some shit. I don't know. Cause I have I snapped it like right in the middle. So I have enough to salvage it to use something.
I actually just tried my adhesive. So I had cut it in, like I tried the same thing to make it into a grill spatula. I need a different adhesive product.
Though. Oh, because it didn't handle heat or what?
No, it just didn't handle. I used caulking, and it's too rubbery. It's too flexible.
Yeah, it's too flexy.
Yeah, the kind of caulk that I had is just flexible and bendy and rubbery, and I didn't think about that when I did it. I was just thinking like this shit holds super hard, or this shit seals up tight. It's when you beat it onto too hard surfaces, you doofus.
Yeah, I think I plan on using like an epoxy.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. So I gotta find
because that'll get hard as a rock. Because those two, I remember like that's what we put back a while back. I built metro buses for a living, and we would put the stanchions together, the two pieces of metal, and glue those shits together, and that was enough to hold like adults.
God damn.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty heavy duty shit, and it had like a special, kind of like shaped piece of metal on the inside of the tube. So like when it got in there, it would like really have stuff to grab onto and hold well. But I mean, this just has to be able to handle the weight of like flipping a burger.
Right. You know? Yeah, it's got to handle a quarter pound at a time. I think it's gonna be all right. Yep.
So that's what I'm thinking. Some couple different ones make little tiny things of epoxy. I think Loctite and shit makes it. So that's what I plan.
Text
on
me
doing.
when you get it and let me know, because I'm gonna look. I'm gonna try to remember to look too when we go get toilet parts this weekend. But
toilet parts.
Toilet parts. The fun of owning a home.
I know.
So text me if you get one. Let me know what it is. Oh
hell yeah.
And you had the same, like you started to say that about Mille Lacs. I was like, I put that down in the notes. So my last note, I think they need people up there. That's what it's kind of starting like with the shitty weather and the catch and release policy. I just think that people weren't showing up. And we said that in the beginning, like last time we talked about this, I was like, dude, there's so much tourism dollars on that lake that, like you said, driving up to the lake, like that's a thing you do in Mille Lacs. Nobody fucking lives up there. It's not true. I'm kidding. But like so much money comes into that area.
Yeah.
And when the bad weather hit, why drive up there? You're probably not even going to get to go on the lake.
Yeah. So I have a shitty day on the lake, so I can keep one walleye. I don't know about that.
Right. Or none, because there was none. It was none.
True. Also, world-class smallmouth fishery.
Yes. Which is also why I thought it was a great fit for this episode to do smallmouth and I found this and I was like, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just footballs up there, dude.
Yeah.
We'll
talk. Let's save that and talk about it in the fishing topic. Let's go into housekeeping a little bit here at at the beginning of this. No, that's the beginning of the month. At the end of last month, must have been near the end of last month, we had episode 95. Big announcement on there that we're going to be taking a little break. Go back and check 95 if you want the whole thing, but we are going to be taking a break here after we get to episode 100. So if you're going to be looking for us in the feeds and stuff, we won't be there, but don't worry, we still got the contact page up. It's realaf.tv/contact. You can email us. We'll still be on social medias and all that shit, so you can find us. Remember, Real like Fish and Real. We're at Real AF TV on most of those platforms, but if you just look for us, Real AF TV, search it up, it comes up. Still trying to keep things growing, even though we're going into a break. So go over to Spotify, leave a comment, YouTube, leave a comment there. That's another way to get in touch with us. Comment on YouTube, and also if you leave a review on iTunes. There we go. That's the what I was like.
All right.
I was trying to think of like, what platform am I talking about? Leave a review on iTunes. That also helps grow the podcast a lot, but it also is a way that will notice what you're saying. Remember, this is an every other week podcast. It drops on Monday, every other Monday. And then on the off weeks, we usually have the fishing topic on Wednesday without all this fun stuff in the front. And we drop the random take on that Friday. Comes around on Monday again. Bam, new podcast. But we didn't do that this last week because last podcast was the big ass iCast 2024 special. So there's no split. It's just iCast from top to bottom, head to toe, left to right.
T to B.
That's it. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Let's jump into the fishing topic. We're going to talk about the smallmouth. Now, I don't know. This is going to be one of those episodes where, I get into like, we're talking about the smallmouth bass. The scientific name is Micropreterus dolomitis. Dolomitis. The Micropreterus dolomite. That's not what it is.
Nope.
Micropreterus Dolumeu. Meui? What the fuck? It's going to be one of those episodes, guys.
Micropreterus Dolumeu. I bet it said like one meow.
Yep, meow.
Too many vowels at the end. I bet it's
so
one
many
noise.
Fucking vowels at the end.
It sounds like you're fucking casting a spell.
Oh yeah, we've talked
Dolomio.
Yes, we've talked about that before. How we need to have like the wizard DNR office or something, like officer in the boat, or he's like floating in the boat. It's like just a cloud.
Yeah,
and he's just casting spells. It's just scientific. I know we did something like that.
I think we did. Yeah.
Smallmouth. Give me some nicknames, Tim. What do you got?
The bronze back.
Yeah.
Big ones are called footballs.
And for that random person that clicks on this from outside of the United States, we're talking about American footballs. They are.
Oh yeah, they don't look like white, look like black polka dotted. They are the shape of a football. What are they? They're like a pointed oval, whatever you want to call that. Like an oval with points,
and not too
each
far
side.
off the color, really. I mean,
a
football
is color.
A deeper brown, but like they're pretty brown. A lot of them are.
They're relatively brown. That's why they call them the bronze backs.
Yep. Smallies.
Smallies. Yeah, I'm trying to think of some other ones. My brain is not braining right now.
I only got those 3, but I was like,
I have more. Yeah, there's
definitely more.
I know there are, and I just can't. Smallies, bronze backs,
footballs.
The footballs. That's all I got right now.
Leave your favorite nickname for a smallmouth bass in the comments.
Yep. Let us know what you got going on.
Yeah. So, like most fish, and this is, but not as much. But as we do these fish specific podcasts, these species specific ones, I learned more and more that like fish just look different depending on where they live. But the smallmouth to me seems to have just like a really drastic range. Like I don't see pictures when we do the largemouth one. It doesn't look as different. It just looks different shaped, right? Like down south, they're just fucking tanks.
Yeah.
You come up here. But generally speaking, they're kind of the same color. Am I just seeing a flood of, photogenic largemouth? Or am I seeing am I seeing a bigger variety of smallmouth bass in comparison to largemouth? Or largemouth just don't change as much as smallmouth? Because smallmouth, I feel like there's a pretty big gamut.
I don't know about that. I feel like I haven't seen a lot of different smallmouths. I know that there's like different shades. I feel like I see the same. Maybe it just like stands out more, but I feel like I see the same with largemouths. Like you got largemouths that are in like dingier water. Mm-hmm. It seems like where their colors are a little bit clearer, and then or like lighter, I should say. And then you got like clear water where sometimes the fish can have like really dark colors, and then when they're in captivity, I feel like they almost change colors to be like watermelon color, which I don't understand ever really, but I've had some big ones where I've caught them before and I didn't let them go right away because I wanted to show somebody, so I put them in the live well just to really bring them back to the cabin and be like, look how big this fucking bass is. And when I open it up, it's not like the back. I don't know if the stress can actually like help change the color, but the back went from being like one solid dark green to now kind of like a spotty dark,
really?
Like, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's weird.
Wow.
And I only really see the fish change like that when they're in captivity.
Sure.
I keep bass far less than I used to. But like when I was younger, there was a lot of times where I didn't know what I was really doing and wanted to eat fish, and I just keep some smaller bass. So I knew a lot of like seeing the, different colors changing and stuff.
Yeah.
But
interesting,
because bass are so straightforward, like the largemouth on the Bill Dance card, he's got a pretty good one there. Bill Dance rookie card. You got that black stripe down the middle.
Right.
And then it's like dark on the top and lighter on the bottom.
Yeah.
And that's really like, that doesn't change at all. But the smallmouth are like barred. Like the lines are a lot different.
Yeah, they're just like tiger striped almost.
Yeah, so some of those can be like, the bars can be a little bit lighter than others. I've seen ones where the bars are almost like non-existent. Like they might be there, but they're really solid color. Like it's just a real pretty solid colored fish.
The whole fish, except for the very belly of it, is still that white fish that you see all over the place, everywhere, basically.
Yeah,
but all fish, the whole fish, it's like a football color. It's not, but it takes on that super dark color. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's very, very like uniform. So there, I guess, there are a lot. Like, I think it's just that because theirs is less of a pronounced, like one black line. Yeah, it can really play different parts because you got like the backing and then the bars. Right. And sometimes they're like identical backing and bars, so they're just that one uniform color. Yeah. Sometimes the backing's a little bit brighter than the bars almost. So that looks a little bit wild.
Yeah, they have like this tiger stripes on them, man. When I see those every time, I'm just like, man, what a fucking pretty fish. It's so cool.
Yeah, and then there's other times where like they'll have like dark barring, but like the back is never really light. The background's never really light.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
pretty brown or like
Yep.
a shade of brown or whatever.
Yeah. Like sometimes
But
a golden color where like
yeah,
I saw some that were they had that really dark actual like back and then it kind
yeah.
of faded into a darker gold brown
Oh,
color
sure.
as it goes down. But it's
Yeah.
not like that it's not like that hard line on a largemouth.
Right. Yeah. Because that largemouth, I mean, that line is black
Right.
and it's on every single one.
Yep.
Regardless of what the back looks like or the stomach looks like, it has that black line.
Right.
Well, for the most part. I have seen ones where they don't. And those look a little bit weird, but those two are like, it's still there. It's just way lighter for whatever reason.
Yeah. And those are usually really, really dark ones anyway in the first place. Right. Like
yeah. So it's just, like what they're normally really big and they're like all uniform color. And that's where you get, the black bass from.
Did you know that's what smallmouth were called?
Black bass?
Yeah. I found that. They're like, I found it in one of the research that I did. They were both, by the way. You're not wrong with the largemouth thing. Both of them were called, but it did say there was this old article. I'm trying to see, did I write it down? Because it was from way back in the day. They said more commonly known as the black bass, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about there, dude. I've never seen the smallmouth. I've never seen a black smallmouth, but like I've seen, like dark backed bass. There's a video game called Black Bass.
Yeah. Yep. And it was largemouth. It was about largemouth.
Yeah.
Yep. But no, I saw it out when I was doing research on smallmouth. And that was one of the things I wanted to talk about. I was like,
yeah.
You ever heard that before? I had never heard that before.
It's funny too how like you go fishing for smallmouth is so much different than when you go for largemouth a lot of times.
Yeah.
Where it's almost like you're kind of fishing for walleye in a sense. Because I literally just heard Seth Feider talking about how, I forget which lake they were on, but he had a good bag and caught 2 tanks, like some big, like 4 or 5 pound fish, wherever he's at. I can't remember, but they were largemouths and he was trying for smallmouths to start. And he said they were giving me trouble. And he's like, so I just went bass fishing.
Okay.
Like he said it like that. Like he's talking about he's not catching smallmouth. And then he's like, so I just decided to go bass fishing. Like,
right. Even though they're both bass, when he said, I just decided to go bass fishing, it was like assumed, implied, whatever you want to say, that he was going largemouth bass fishing.
I mean, like, think about this. You ever seen anybody catch a smallmouth on a frog? Because I mean, like, it happens in rivers and stuff, but like,
sure.
I don't think I've ever seen a smallmouth hit a frog in like a pad of lily pads.
Sure.
So it's like, that's what he basically did was he went frogging and he was like pitching and flipping and stuff like that. So he's like flipping jigs underneath docks or whatever. I don't know exactly what he did, but that's what he said in the interview afterwards, How did this happen? I was trying for smallmouth. It didn't go well. So I went bass fishing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's so funny to hear the huge differences in that.
Yeah.
And it's okay. So let's just talk about the way the fish looks for a second. We're going to get back to fishing for them, of course.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about this description, that I found about why it's a smallmouth.
Yeah.
The upper jaw only extends to the middle of their eye. It's like, their jaw only goes to the middle of their eye. They're not completely able to unhinge their jaw and their eye doesn't live in their mouth.
Yeah. Yep.
I thought it was funny.
I knew that shit from long time ago because I always read the books and stuff when I was a kid. I was always reading the different books about the different specifications. So I know very well like the differences between like pike and northern and the bass. That's why I always think it's funny when I hear people like trying to debate shit online. And I just come in and I just be like, listen, I can't prove that I'm an expert, but that's this fish.
Right.
Stop
I've
arguing.
Been studying this for
it's not hard for me.
Right.
There should be no debate here. It is this fish.
Right. Right. And it's not like we've ever talked about this before, like you said it before, but like that's part of why I wanted to do this podcast. I mean, other than the fact we get to hang out, it's awesome. But like, I always felt like I don't know much about fishing, and I always felt you've proven time and time again that you do know a lot about fishing. And it was like, how can I help prove that Tim is as good as he is? Like, that's always sort of been something in the back of my head of like, how do I like really prove it? And it's just like, well, here's how. I do the research. I go, I scour the internet to try to come up with ideas and data or, from reputable sources, and we'll just talk about it.
Yeah. And then I come in with I just come in and turn on the computer. we go.
Yeah. You're the color commentary guy or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
but you know what you're talking about. And I just know that. So I just like, you just sit down and go, what are we talking about? Smallmouth. All right. Let's do it.
Yep.
So I just thought the jaw measurement was really funny because like, they're comparing it to the largemouth, which we've been doing here too. And just going like, well, their jaw only goes to the middle of their eye.
I know.
Jeez.
I know. But like when you see it in the picture, it is kind of crazy. So like that explained, if anybody's wondering like what that even means, is like when you look at a profile picture, their eyes are still above their mouth. So it's, like you just like look straight down. But if you line up, because their eyes are like slightly on the sides of their head, you can look at a profile picture and like the middle of their eye goes straight down to where their mouth closes. They got that little like flange that goes back because, their mouth opens up weird. It's, if you haven't caught fish, go catch fish and then take a look, because they have like these, it's like this, like almost like a piece of cartilage that is able to like kind of extend, and it goes, when it opens up, you'll see what I'm talking about if you catch one or you go look at a picture, but it's a flange that when their mouth is closed, it's all the way back that lines up with their eye. And a largemouth, that same piece actually goes quite a bit behind the eye because their mouths are so much bigger.
Right.
And I mean, like, I know like catching a 5-pounder is not normal, but if you catch a 5-pound largemouth, you could easily fit your whole fist in a largemouth's mouth.
It's so wild to hear that.
Yeah.
I know you've said it more than once on the podcast, but you just don't get used to something like that when you've only heard it 30 times or whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I'm a pretty big dude.
Right.
I could fit my fist in a 5-pounder's mouth. Like, I got a decent sized fist.
Yeah.
And a smallmouth, not a chance, dude. They're so much smaller overall.
So small.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say so small, but like, they're,
I guess in comparison, just because I remember the first time I reached into a smallmouth, like I had the bass and I just was like, do I lip this thing? I don't.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with it? Like, I didn't know, but with a largemouth, there's no questioning.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A 2-pound largemouth, you don't question it. You just reach in, you lip it, and you pull the lure out. Like there's just there's no doubt. But I remember first time I had to pull a nice sized smallmouth out of the water. Yeah. I was like, I did one of those delays where I kind of like, I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Yeah. Right. And it's, I mean, like, I know this is like, I'm not saying that a smallmouth wouldn't be able to eat a frog, because it could, but like a lot of times when you go frog fishing, you catch big fish, but it's not impossible to catch a smaller bass on a frog because, like you said, a 2-pounder has a big enough mouth to eat quite a bit of shit. Like it can, like you can throw a relatively large lure and you could catch a smaller bass because it has the confidence that it's going to be able to eat something big enough. It's like what do they call those games? It's like a whole IO type thing where it just knows if I eat something bigger, I'm going to get bigger, bro. So I'm
right.
going to eat.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat that big thing.
Like a Katamari Damashi shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Katamari Damashi. Oh, dude. That one, that game brings back bad memories.
Oh, no. Okay. We won't go into that.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'll just tell everybody real quick since I brought that up. There was one night where I was intoxicated and all I wanted to do was go to sleep, and somebody else was playing Katamari Damashi loudly in the next room. I was just like, I didn't get up. I didn't go tell anybody to shut up, but I'm just like, I just want to sleep. And it wasn't booze. I was having a hard time going to sleep. If it was alcohol, I probably would have passed out, no problem. But yeah.
Right.
I was intoxicated and just wanted to sleep off how I was feeling.
Yep.
And I could not.
And you couldn't because it
Katamari Damashi's insane noises over and over. Plus people talking about it. Roll over that thing. Roll over that thing. No, roll over that thing.
Oh, that's so good. Okay. So before we get more into the fishing, I want to do a little bit more physical stuff, because this is something that I always have a hard time figuring out with fish. Like, how the fuck does this happen? Sometimes they have red eyes, sometimes they have black eyes. I've never seen another fish like the smallmouth that, like, it seems to have both, just depending on where it is. I mean, what do you see when you're catching them? It's weird.
I see mostly red eyes.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess they say black.
Yeah. Well, I should say I saw photos. So maybe I saw the photos wrong.
Maybe it's like a dark brown or something that it could be sometimes or whatever.
Like the red just got so dark. Okay.
Yeah. It's red a lot though. I don't remember catching a lot that doesn't, but I guess I don't like stare at their eyes a lot. But a lot of times when I catch them, I mean, maybe there are some ones that have darker eyes and they just don't stand out to me when I catch them. But most of the time when I catch them, I look and I'm just like, damn, dude, your eyes are all red. That's like, they're cool looking fish, man.
They are.
And a lot of times I'll catch them on the Mississippi, and sometimes they'll be smaller.
Okay.
But they're just perfect. Like, they're flawless. They're like how you were saying, just a pretty fish. Like, you catch them and you're like holding them up. Like, you got these red eyes on this backdrop of like this olive skin. Like, some of them are just that like one color the whole way. I just talked to him for a minute.
Yeah.
Like, God damn, dude, look at you. You just a good looking fish, huh?
That's a good looking fish. Okay. Well, good. I mean, that just makes me, if I ever catch one ever again, I'm on that note right now. That I just, I'll pay attention, because I swear I've seen just like black, like the black eyes, like a largemouth, but maybe I've caught so few that I just don't have that, that like good solid memory. But I was looking at photos as I usually do, and there were a lot, but I also forget that like angle, I'm right now, this is me real time analyzing my picture looking at on the internet, is the angle causes quite a bit, like what if it was a deep water fish and it came up quick and its eyes didn't adjust or something, I don't know. But but still, nonetheless, the angle does matter when it comes to getting that red in there. It can it can make a difference in the camera. So
well, if you want to catch a fish, or anybody listening, I'm not even joking, hit us up and tell me, like, I want to catch one. Just come to St. Cloud. I'll show you.
Yeah.
It's not hard. I know a spot It's not hard to do at all. As long as you know how to cast out and reel in. I catch you. We'll catch a smallmouth. I promise.
On that note, then, because I had that down for the end of like, all right, well, we're gonna go into it, but fuck that, you just brought it up.
Yeah,
go over that like best night ever on the river, because we've talked about it a little bit, but like this was a smallmouth night, right?
Yeah, smallmouth afternoon.
Smallmouth afternoon. Okay, yeah, dude, get into it. I want to listen. Yeah, I'm here for his story.
So it was like a smallmouth afternoon, and I can't remember like what day it was. I want to say it was back when I was doing the car sales, and then I had just like a random Tuesday off.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just by myself. I'm going to go out here. There was like no pressure from anybody else, so I don't have to worry about anybody else competing with me. I mean, there probably was somebody, but they're the weird people that come there with like a big giant fishing rod set up, and they cast like a bobber and just sit there like watch it float down the river for a while until they like reel it up and cast it again.
Yeah.
I'm not shitting on those people, but like
no, but they're being so casual. Like they're literally out there to just hang out by the water. And
they're also
maybe
like
something will bite.
Yeah, they're also weird people. I'm not, like they're not, I'm not talking. This is just like, I'm not saying you're weird because you're doing that stuff. I'm saying you're weird because you're fucking weird. Because they're just
like you don't. If you've seen these people, you would right. That's the kind of that's what you're saying.
Yeah, when
like if you've seen these people,
when you shore fish, you run into some straight up like they're somewhere between homeless and Walmartian, and they're just out there. You're like, whoa, dude. There's like it's 95 degrees and humid. I can't believe you're out here in pajama pants
and a coat and 2 coats. You have 2 coats.
Wild. On. Yeah, 2 coats. And the stuff you bring for fishing gear, and you try to tell everybody that passes by how it's just all they need is bread. You just gotta put bread on it. So like, you do you, and I'll do me. How about that? That kind of stuff. Anyways, so I'm out there, and it's the moon phase is like that's supposed to be peak fishing time. Like that's why I was like, I had some stuff to do or whatever, and I was like, but I got to get out here for this time. And when I went out there, it was like first cast, got a fish. Hell yeah, first cast, nice. That happens a lot.
And you're in mid-afternoon. This is like mid-afternoon, 1:30 or something.
Yeah, it's like 1:30 mid-afternoon. It's nothing crazy. I know how to fish this spot in the river. So
sure.
Just like when you're fishing a lot of times with the river, you can catch them if you don't go with the current. That's not impossible. But when you're making your lure come back with the current, that's the natural way a bait fish would be fleeing, or whatever it thinks you have would be fleeing. Okay. And I have far more success when I'm reeling the lure with the current than going against the current. Like I'll fan
or
cast.
Sideways through the current, I guess. Even I don't know. Right.
Yeah. Because I mean, it works. It all like none of it doesn't work 100% of the time, but there's things that you can do that make it work better most of the time. So I'll fan cast from shore. I go to shore and I'll like make a cast, right, left, or like right, and
center.
then just kind of like work my way left.
Okay.
But when I'm doing it on the river, I won't make that right cast most of the time. Like I'll like, cause the current is coming from the left and going to my right. So I'll make like a straight out cast will be the last cast I make.
Okay.
I always try to I like to go like extreme left. I try to cast close to shore as far down as I can go. So I'll take a really long cast and I'll walk upstream with the current. So I'm not like walking past the fish, because some of these fish are really close to the riprap, which is just, rocks on the shoreline.
Right.
And they'll be really like it drops off pretty fast. So they won't be that far away. So they can see you really well. So I'll go to the far right where the current is going towards, and I'll make a cast as far as I can to the left and pull it back. And that day, I didn't have to fan cast. I would just cast and it'd be a fish on. And well, I did fan cast, I should say, but I barely, like, I didn't make the like straight out casts because I was hitting them all like near the rocks too. So they were all up near the rocks.
Just like
they were all willing to eat.
Uh-huh.
And it was just like one cast, boom, fish. Next cast, boom, fish. Next cast, boom, fish. And I'm like, oh shit, there's like 3 casts in a row. I literally only move my spot. Normally I'll make a couple of casts, and if I don't catch a fish, then I'll move further.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I only moved up when the fish got smaller.
Oh my God.
Because I caught fish it was like, bam, decent fish, nice. Bam, big fish, like hell yeah, that's a good one.
Nice.
And then like other fish, and it was like eventually the fish got to where the bigger fish had ate my lure, and they're not going to bite again.
Right.
So then they like a small one, and
so now the little one had a chance, and
yeah.
And
it was, I walked that whore. Did I just say whore? I walked that whore shoreline. Speaking of whore shorelines, I did find that packaging that one time along that river for like a butt plug or something. You find some wild stuff. I'm telling you, there's more reason I was talking about those people being weird than just finding butt plug packaging along the river, because that's what you do. I got a little bit of free time. I'm going to cast out a line and slip in a butt plug.
As one does on a Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. What are you doing this Tuesday? What do you mean, what am I doing this Tuesday? Putting in a butt plug and throwing out a line.
So we could do every Tuesday.
This guy over here. What are you going to do this Tuesday? You know what I'm doing full well, idiot. But no, so I casted, and I don't know how many casts it was. I stopped counting, but it was like every cast for like 20 some casts straight.
Oh my God,
I got
dude.
fish. Just bam, bam, bam. Yeah. After a while, like I was in disbelief at like 10 or 12.
Right.
And it was just like every time it just became no way. No way.
No way.
Yeah.
For like 20 casts.
Yeah. And
that's
so
crazy.
This was Mepps Aglia. And so that's a inline spinner.
Yep.
And that blade is orange, because smallmouth like they seem to like orange and pink, like those two colors. I don't know why, but that's their colors. And so it had an orange blade on it, and then it had a natural colored skirt, which was actual like buck hair like coloring, where it's kind of like brown and white, and it has one red feather on the hook. Okay. And I want to say it was like a number 3 blade. I think it was a number 3 blade. Could have been a number 4. I forget. But the sizes on those get bigger as the number goes down.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like number 1 is a relatively big blade.
Yeah.
So I think. Pretty sure that's how that works. I'm looking around. I don't have one.
That's fucking crazy.
But yeah, every cast for that many casts straight.
That's
and that
awesome.
Mepps Aglia, you just cast it out and you reel it in. That's all you got to do. It has that blade goes, it has a vibration, and they just come up and they hit it. That's all you got to do is just cast it out and reel it in.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I have a weird, this is actually how I was going to start the podcast. The cast it out, reel it in. So I was doing that in my dream last night, and I know dream story, boring. No. So last night I was dreaming of fishing like the whole time. Yeah. And I started to sort of come out of my dream, like wake up. It kind of like I was going to turn over to my other side or, or something. And I was like, was a sweet dream.
Nice.
5 out of 5 dream. And I gave myself 5 stars and a thumbs up before I woke up. Like, I literally reviewed my dream, dude. What the fuck kind of manipulation is going on behind the internet?
That's so awesome. 5 out of 5 stars. Zing.
Fucked up, right?
That's wild. That's great.
Yeah. Oh, it was so weird. I was just like, oh my God, I just did that. Like, because I woke up afterwards and like went over to my other side and fully recognized what I did.
That's awesome.
Oh. Okay.
Hey, I should say too, real quick, for anybody else that if you don't fish a lot, I know that's an easy way, but it's so effective. And I don't know if a lot of people don't do it anymore, but go and try that Maps Aglia. You can try different sizes. You can try different, colors and whatnot. A lot of them will work. And another one is like, if you have like a curly tail grub where it's just, like this is like a little spinner bait, but don't worry about that spinner. Just see how this is like a jig head with this little curly tail.
Oh, yeah.
Guy.
Yeah. That jig has the curly tail like built into it.
Yeah. So when you cast it,
you didn't put that on there. It makes came like that.
Right. Yep. So when you cast it out and you reel it in, it gives that little vibration, like because the tail curls and stuff.
Yeah.
You could use whatever color you want, but white on white jig head, white curly tail grub, cast it out, reel it in straight. I mean, I'm giving you these 2 tips because there are a million different ways to fish for smallmouth.
Right.
You can have crazy success. The rocks can be a problem. The river with sticks and stuff can be a problem.
Right.
Both those 2, when you cast them out and reel them in, they stay relatively high in the water column and they don't go down far enough to hook stuff. And the fish will come up to eat them a lot. Like depending on where you're at in the river and stuff. Most rivers aren't crazy deep when you're talking about like fishing something that has good current. Obviously there's exceptions to the rules, but like they're close to the shoreline feeding on stuff when they're hungry. So you don't have to cast or you don't have to get that deep because they're probably there waiting for something to fall off of the rocks or waiting for something to fall out of the tree.
Sure.
Or whatever.
Or just come screaming come screaming down the current really quick and they're like, hey, there goes something, better go catch it. Like,
right. Yeah. They're just waiting for an opportunity. If they're out there and they want to eat, they just, sometimes they just got to do what they got to do. They might prefer to eat, a crayfish that you're bouncing on the bottom. But if they're hungry and you burn something by on the top of the water, if they want to eat it, they'll come up and eat it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And like you said, that keeps you up out of the rocks and the twigs and shit that get built up in rivers.
Yep. And they're both super simple ways. You just cast them out and reel in.
Yeah. That's that's awesome. But so you're saying a lot. So I'm going to go like everything you're saying. You read about the habitat and it's like they prefer clear water. The rocky areas of the water. Rivers, like the pools in rivers, streams, reservoirs of streams, that colder water.
Yeah.
Actually, if you go to episode 86, I'll just say that really quick. If you go to episode 86, we talked about how smallmouth are invasive. The invasive smallmouth is what it was called.
Yeah.
If you go over there, that's where you'll hear about some cold water and reservoirs and stuff like that. But you're talking about river and the rocks and the rocky areas, and it said they like to hang out in the river pools. And so they're not like out there in the current. They're trying to get closer to the rocks where it's a little bit more broken up and right?
No,
or are you just like seeing them in the current?
Yeah. No, they're in the current. They'll sit where like the current breaks are. But they're in the current too. They're swimming a lot of times, keeping moving. They'll stay in one spot, just kind of like swimming with it. But like if you can visibly find where the rocks and stuff are,
Uh-huh.
Here's another tip. If you're in a spot where there's a river and you see that there's a current break, like you can see that the like water's going around a rock or something,
Okay.
you might get hung up, because I don't know what all the rock situations are. So know that going in. Don't cast your best lure out there thinking you're going to catch it. Try to cast something cheap. That's where the whitetail grubs really come in handy. You can go get a pack of like Mr. Twisters that are already like pre-rigged. You can get like a 4-pack, or like Johnson, I think, makes them too. Like there's a couple of different companies that'll make pre-rigged jig head with the white curly tail grub ready to roll. And you can get like a 4-pack for like $3.60 or something, $4.
Oh, shit. Nice.
So you can afford to like break them off and just keep going. It's not that big of a deal. So those are nice. If you are on a river where there's a healthy population and you find one of those rocks where it's not like raging rapids, if it's really insane, I don't know if you're gonna have much fish sitting right where it's like raging rapids. But if it's like just a steady current and it's like going around that rock, there's a smallmouth behind that rock.
Yeah. Just hanging out
on the Mississippi where I go. I will not, most of the time on certain spots, like where that riprap is, there's chances of them being all the way along that riprap, because they can be feeding on the stuff that lives in those rocks. There's crayfish in those rocks. There's bugs that fall off of that. There's like spiders that live in the rocks that sometimes go to try to grab, whatever they trying to grab. All sorts of different bugs and stuff. There's the different like dragonflies and all that kind of shit like hatch from those kind of areas and stuff. So like it's just an abundance of food. There's always something along those rocks. Right. But further down, those smallmouth are like taking a break in that current break behind those rocks. And they'll just wait for shit to come past that rock, and then they'll chase out and grab it and go back underneath. So they're just chilling there, and they're opportunistic feeders. So they might be just taking a break, just being like, I don't want to move. And it just takes, they go, well, food. And then they go and eat it, So I have some on like the GoPro. I have footage of going out there and talking, like just being like, here's where there's a fish. I go right there, point at it. I say, there's a fish there. And I cast and I catch a fish. I say, hey, see, look, there's a fish there. So it's, I think that the shallow rivers with moving current is almost easier shore fishing than anything else that you can do, because you can pick it apart so much easier, because the current,
as far as the like visual, like where things are in a river, because it's moving and like,
with a lot of bodies of water, you have to have a depth finder to really dissect what you're seeing from shore. But with current, you can walk out and you can just be like, there's a rock there and there's a rock there. You can just kind of see what's happening. And you can see the food sources and where there might be a fish waiting for something to fall. If there's a low-hanging tree, there's a good chance that there's a smallmouth waiting for something to fall out of that tree.
Just hanging out underneath it.
Yeah. Just waiting.
Yeah.
I have grasshopper topwater poppers, so it looks like a bug. And I mean,
they're tiny, right?
Yeah. You don't pop that shit at all a lot of times. You go, oh, there's a tree there. I know, like, this is probably working. Then you cast, and as soon as that grasshopper hits the water,
they just come up and bam,
instantly, dude. No hesitation,
because they know, sweet.
Because they know the bugs. They know that they got to move fast, because that bug hit the water, but that bug can take off and fly if it can fly again.
Right.
It might be stuck there for a second, but it can get. A lot of times, it can get away.
Right.
So they're waiting, and the moment it hits the water,
just bam, to take it.
Yep.
Fuck yeah.
Hey,
that's cool. It's funny that you say the Mississippi. Not funny, but it's just like, it's such a perfect example that you say the Mississippi, because it's just like when it comes to smallmouth, they're all over this eastern side.
Yeah.
of the United States. So I got it from St. Lawrence, the Hudson Bay over there in the Great Lakes.
Okay.
The southern Canada area, over to the Dakotas in the west, down to Oklahoma, over to Alabama, and then just anything that connects to the Mississippi. Like, yeah.
I didn't know they had them in Alabama.
I didn't know that either.
That's surprising.
Yeah, because you always hear about the large. Everything down there, you hear about the largemouth.
Well, you just don't hear about them going like real south. And Alabama is pretty far down there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It makes me wonder also what's in Louisiana with the Mississippi going through there.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I've definitely never. That's like LSU and Alabama, like the real southern sounding like schools.
Mm-hmm.
And Roll Damn Tide. That one's like I don't associate smallmouth with that at all.
Right.
That's like alligators and largemouth is
yeah. Yeah, for real. I know. And that's why I thought it was pretty cool, but then again, it's just like basically the Mississippi. If it's, they just ride the Mississippi, but also then you're talking about clear, colder waters is where you find these things too. And you go, well, that far down south, how fucking cold could the water be?
Right.
So,
but I guess if they have like super deep reservoirs or something,
maybe something coming out of the Appalachian Mountains, just.
Yeah, I don't know. When you get deep enough, the water's cold regardless of how warm the air is,
Right. So when you say that the deep water and the cold and stuff, is that why fishing for smallmouth is more like walleye? Is that why you kind of made that connection?
Yeah, a lot of times they're like you fish them a lot like walleye. They're in deeper water and like rocky humps and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And the largemouth are going to be up in the weeds.
A lot of times they're up in the weeds or in the shallows. There's largemouth that are small or largemouth that go deep as well.
Oh,
but
sure.
You just like the lures that you use and stuff.
Okay.
I catch walleye drop shot fishing with small, like really small baits, and you can catch largemouth with small baits too.
Sure.
But you rarely catch like a 5-pound largemouth when you're drop shot fishing. But the pros catch the smallmouth drop shot fishing big footballs all the time.
Yeah.
So it's just, and like the Ned rigs and stuff too. Like Ned rigs are like everything's kind of like downsized, like tiny. I caught a 5-pound smallmouth on Chaminade with a Ned rig coming from underneath a pontoon boat.
Damn.
So like they do come up shallow.
Sure.
I see it's not a rarity, but it seems
because just like any, I shouldn't say just like any fish, but they're still a bass. They do go into cover. Like I found that out. It's just like, they like to hang out in cover too.
Or here's
but
a
it's
good
not
example.
Like the fucking hopping a frog across a lily pad kind of cover shit.
Right. Yeah. And they seem to be more eager to bite than like walleyes are still.
Sure.
But here's a good example of just like so I've talked about it before in a different episode, but I can't remember exactly which one, but the Lake Mille Lacs has the launch is what we always called it. I don't know if that's what they call it, but it's like a community boat. It's not like a pontoon boat. It's just like a real big boat, real big deck.
Yeah. We've
like
talked about these things on the podcast before, for sure. Yeah. It's like a deck with pontoons underneath it.
Well, no, this one's like just a ferry. It's like just a big ass boat.
Oh, it is.
But it has a big deck like a pontoon boat would, but like bigger than that even. It's like a ferry. You can get up and walk around. Like it's a big vessel.
Yeah.
And so you take that out and like they'll set you up like with multiple people. And there was like a very light breeze. And what we did was like went out there with like Lindy rigs. So it's like a weight with a line and a hook, and then they had like a live bait on it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just drag that on the bottom. And that's all like the boat was being pushed very slowly with the wind, and we just drug all those baits across. And we didn't have luck that day. They thought that they would be like on this like deeper water flat where it came up to
like a plateau.
Yeah, like underwater. A plateau. Exactly. Yep. And they would just like drift across that. And we didn't catch any walleyes, but one girl caught like what I'm sure was her personal best smallmouth.
Yeah.
It was a giant smallmouth.
big football. That Mille Lacs being a smallmouth destination, like we said in the fishing news.
Yeah, I mean it was like a 5.5 pound smallmouth, a fish that most people just be like over the moon to catch if they were out there trying to catch the smallmouths.
Yeah,
you know. But this was some girl that was just kind of like, "What is it?" You know, that kind of,
yeah. She's I thought we were out here for the walleyes. And
yeah, I don't even know if she would have known what a walleye was. That's just what this launch is. You can just
because
somebody just says
the tourist dollars. We're
going
going out on this. We're going to go out and do this thing because it's what people do when you come up here.
Yep, and it's not that crazy. It's like some people are just like, "Do you want to go get a charter?" And like, well, that's a lot of money. And this one's just like, I forget the exact amount, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want to spend $40 to go for the afternoon? See if you can catch something?
Right.
Like, yeah, I got $40 for an afternoon on the water. Hell yeah.
Right.
You know? Yep. So, yeah. But the point that I was making was we went out there dragging Lindy rigs, which is what you do for walleye, and they caught a smallmouth. So,
yeah. So there you go.
Which is also another way you can catch a largemouth. Obviously, there's that, but like,
right. But to connect it to like the fact that you also said that like, or that we've said it also is like it's just a fact is the Lake Mille Lacs is a smallmouth.
Yeah,
like a class act, world class. There we go. A world class smallmouth fishery just is
right.
So
yep, and you can. I guess another good way to put it is like you'll downsize to fish for smallmouth just on any given day, where you'll downsize for largemouth like after a front or it's really pressured fish. Like you'll use smaller baits just to catch smallmouth regardless of what situation you're dealing with. And largemouth, a lot of times you'll go smaller when you're having a hard time catching them on bigger baits, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're never going to cast a giant glide bait for a smallmouth, which is something you do for largemouth, you know?
Sure.
So that's the same with walleye. Like I've never heard, I'm sure it's happened, but I've never heard of anybody catching a walleye with a glide bait.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, it's just one of those things like it just doesn't really, like you said, it probably could happen or does happen. Someone's got a story.
Right.
But you're like, I've never heard it.
Right. Yeah. Nope. Not personally. I've heard some things, but I don't know.
Heard some things. I've seen some things.
I've heard some things. I've seen some stuff. There's people that say things, but then some of that's too on the internet where you're just like, what? I want to see the footage from beginning to end. I don't believe
that's what people are going to put in the comments too of this video. Bullshit. Right. 20 casts in a row.
No, you didn't. Yeah, I did. I'll be 100% honest with you. Some of them were like 7-8 inch fish. They weren't monsters.
Oh yeah.
I was catching a lot of good ones, and I was also catching small ones. But it was every cast.
But every cast, sure.
I don't give a shit. Say you don't believe me. Come over here. I'll show you the spot.
One thing I thought was really cool was I'm gonna just parlay this in, so hold on 1 second. They've been introduced to England, Europe, Japan, Russia, and Africa. I was like, Africa. Damn. Yeah. So
that's people another one that's
love their smallmouth.
Are there any cold spots in Africa?
I know. Right. No, seriously. Are there? Somebody tell us.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool to see that. I was like, damn. That's introduced, which means that, basically fish from the Midwest, upper, northern part of North America, probably. They grabbed, they loved them so much. They were just like, bring them over. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about. But do you think that it has something to do with pound for pound? I saw this everywhere I read. Pound for pound, this is a fighter. This is a fight.
Yeah.
This is a fun ass fish to catch. And hearing also everything you're saying about them being in the current and stuff like that, it's like they seem like they just hang out in moving water. So they're muscly, fierce-eating little bastards. No surprise, I guess, that they're super good fighters.
Yeah. You can catch them on lakes and stuff too, but they fight like hell, dude. It's in the ones in the current.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, you can catch a 1 pound 1 pound bass. Go catch it. Go catch that 1 pound smallmouth in the current, and tell me that didn't fight like a 3 pounder, like a largemouth in the lake.
Yeah,
that pull drag and shit.
A 1 pounder, huh?
Feels good. Yeah, like a 1 pounder will fight good.
Damn,
a 2 pounder will feel like you really got something. When you get it up, you're like, that's a good fish. I thought you were a lot bigger than you were, but that's a good fish. I like the way you look. Yeah. But a 3 pounder, dude, the one problem I will say when you're using those aglias, if you're using the smaller bait, you get a lot of bites, but the big ones will shake it a lot of times. The big ones will shake that little hook because they'll fight you like hell, and then they'll jump. They get airborne. They know how to work that current. They get up, dude.
That's fucking cool, dude.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. Because even if you don't catch it, like sometimes you just see them sky, and you go, right there, you lose the fish, but you go, damn, dude, look at you got up. That was a good fish.
That
sucks. Awesome. I missed them, but yeah.
Right. As we always do, let's get into some spawning. Yeah. Ooh, the sexy times.
Yeah. Spawning. Ooh.
But no, I'm going to ask you a question immediately following this. Pretty much is, okay, as the water usually approaches about 60 degrees, late spring, early summer up in this area, in about 5 to 20 feet of water, rocky beds. So there we go. We're talking about that rocky area.
Yep.
And they're aggressive to defend their beds. It's like, this is very common. Can we even fish smallmouth during that time? Is it like uncool to take them during spawning? Like what's that? Do you know anything about that? Have you found it?
I don't know anything about smallmouth spawning because it normally happens before we can fish for them.
Okay, so it's one of these fish where the DNRs kind of put that stop on them during spawn season, probably.
Yeah, because it's it starts, like the walleye will spawn early too, when it's cool.
Yeah.
But
and that's why there's that break in the season.
Yeah.
Like, it's very clear. I've never read anywhere that like, oh, we stop during spawning season. But if you learn about walleye, you just go, spawn.
Yeah. So the bass opener, you can target bass on the regular fishing opener in certain areas, but you can't keep bass for another 2 weeks after that.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're like, you can catch them, but I'm normally not fishing the river that early because I don't know. To be 100% honest, that's one of my weak points. In a lake, maybe they're like Chaminade where I fish. The one fish I did catch like way before the season on accident because it was at the it was in the water, like by the dock. I just randomly went out and I looked with the Aquaview camera because my dad has a older camera, and I was just like looking, just seeing,
just out there playing around with a camera. Basically,
I'm like, right? Is there anything up here? Like the water's super cold. It's like the weekend after we put in the dock, and we have crappie minnows because we're gonna go fish for crappie. And I honestly, because I had never even seen a smallmouth on that lake before this one, I looked at that and I go, oh, damn, there's a big ass rock bass underneath this. Because I knew it wasn't a regular bass. I could tell it was different, but it didn't even cross my mind that it was a smallmouth.
Yeah. Because I remember that you telling that the part of the story is they're not even listed as a species that exists in that lake.
I took that picture and I emailed DNR.
Right. Yeah.
Because I was like, there's not even supposed to be on this lake. What happened here? There's no natural inlets. There's like, what the fuck? Yeah. I've been fishing this lake since I was a kid. How did I just catch this 5-pound smallmouth? Not just a smallmouth, a big ass smallmouth.
Right.
And they said that they think it was probably due to like the helping hand of another angler.
Someone dropped it in there.
I have a theory that it's the Lund boat people because they do videos and take pictures and stuff on that lake because half of that lake is owned by the church camp. So there's all this different, all this land that doesn't have any cabins in the background that you can take photos with. And the water's nice and clear. So it makes the pictures look good. Because if you're driving your boat in chocolate milk, it almost distracts you from the boat. You're just like, damn, dude, look at that water. That's crazy how dingy that shit is. But I think they were trying to take a photo and somebody like the bass flopped and got away from them.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know for sure. Or they didn't look into it being like there's no smallmouth on this lake. And they came up here to take a couple of photos and stuff. And then once they got their photos, they just released it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I caught that big ass smallmouth. So that smallmouth was up underneath the dock before any fish were up there. There was not a single other fish that had moved up yet.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
to the cold water.
Yeah. Stuff. So that one might have moved up like ready to spawn around the dock.
Right. Sure.
Because that early, there's like no weeds and stuff. It's just sand. It's very like just gravelly ground. None of the weeds have grown up at that time of the year.
Right. Which is exactly what they want.
Yeah. And I think it's probably just like, oh, we're going to spawn with whatever. But he or she is the only smallmouth in the lake, I think.
Right. Yeah.
So
just maybe she was looking around for bed. She's like, hey, this is where the dudes should be. Yeah. Where the fuck they at?
Right. Yeah. I'm just thinking, it'd be nice.
If there was somewhere to put these eggs, that'd be cool.
Yep. I'm just underneath this dock, if there's some suitor that's looking to have a couple babies or whatever, I don't know why I get that accent, but anyways,
it's our go-to, dude.
It's just fun.
It's such a good accent. I don't know why, but we both do it. I love it. I think Carl has a lot to do with it. Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Carl has a lot to do with it.
I think so too.
This is the weirdest shit.
Yeah. I got some, just in case there was any takers out there, I got some perfectly good eggs need fertilizing.
Right. And he says the weirdest shit. Oh, I'm gonna be farting blood for a week.
I'm gonna be farting blood for a week. Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, dude? This guy just say anything that comes to his head.
Hey, fry man, you know what I ordered? I love I love the episode of when they have the like guitar that has special powers when you talk about foreigner stuff. And they would just like, they have to like say the titles of the stuff. And just like Shake has it. He's just like, 'cause you're cold as ice. And Carl not catching on at all. Just like, oh yeah, classic. And then he gets frozen. Oh no.
Oh, fuck yes. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you want to know something about these? Okay, so they're aggressive, so they're cannibals, but they will they will cannibalize, the little ones, like a lot of fish we're learning. So I want to throw that one out there as a fun fact of like, hey, look at this through line that I found that we can make. But this was so weird about the spawning. The process is the same as all fish. They make a bed. Females go around every bed, lay a bunch of eggs.
Yep.
Okay. Whole bunch of that, right? It said the courting can take hours. Oh, what a waste of time. How about you just make more fish? Fucking A. The process of getting eggs in the bed can take hours. I was like, geez. I do not remember any other freshwater fish being like that.
They just like go into like legit labor. She just like trying to push the eggs out.
And the guys over there just holding their fin. You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah. And they're ready to do their part. Because for those of you that don't know, the ladies drop the eggs down and then the dudes come over and ejaculate on them. So they're probably just like, come on, girl, I'm ready. You better handle this quick. I'm about to bust.
I have a mouthful of water. I didn't know what to do with it. I was like, oh, fuck.
I'm about to fertilize those rocks. So you know, yep.
Oh, shit. Okay. Two quick things to wrap up here. First thing is check out this motherfucker. 11 pounds, 15 ounces, literally 1 ounce shy of a 12-pound smallmouth up in Dale Hollow Lake, Tennessee.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, dude. Fucking A. 27 inches long and 21.75 inches in diameter.
Just, that's not even a football. That's like...
That is like a soccer ball.
Oh, yeah, what's that, like a rugby ball? Aren't
yeah, you're right. Bigger? That's a rugby ball, yeah.
Yeah, that's wild, dude. That's so big. Like, just we've said it a lot of times before. Like when you go down south, like they can just have fish that are bigger than ours. The smallmouth and the largemouth state record are very close to each other, and they're both in the 8-pound range in Minnesota.
Yeah, up here.
So again, that one just shy of 12 pounds is far bigger than any bass has ever been in our lakes.
Yeah. And that's the smallmouth, which is usually smaller than the largemouth bass too.
A 4-pound bass is a big ass fish. That's a 4-pound bass bigger than our biggest largemouth.
Right.
That's gnarly,
that would eat the other bass.
Yeah.
It probably could. Yeah. And it was 1955 that record was set, and it still stands.
And some of that shit I call bullshit.
But no, they have a photo of it.
No, I know, but some of the records and stuff, when you like look back on it, like some people are just like, we don't know for sure. Oh, but no, I'm sure it was a big fish. I'm not saying that it wasn't. I just find it hard to believe that there was in the 50s they caught the record and then never after that. But I guess it could be that just like before fishing happened, the fish would just get way bigger, and then we were introduced. Yeah, then we were introduced, and then just fish don't have a chance to get that big anymore.
Right. Which takes me to the last point that I wanted to make is great table fare. That's a quote from one article that I read.
So
and I was like, I don't know if I trust you anymore.
Here's the thing. I've heard this too, and actually I didn't know that at all. And it wasn't, I've heard that in cold water. Okay, two things. I'll say this. Chaminade has a larger population of smallmouth now. I don't know how it happened, but every once in a while I'll catch them.
Okay.
One time I caught a smaller one, and it was earlier in the year, and somebody had told me that they are good eating when they're cold. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to go for this because I don't want to eat any of them that I catch out of the Mississippi. Plus, I think there's like rules that you're supposed to toss them back all right away. It doesn't really matter. I have no interest in catching anything out of the Mississippi, like eating anything out of the Mississippi. So I tossed those ones back, but I caught the one in Chaminade where I eat all my other fish. It's a nice clear water, whatever. I cut that thing open and it had worms. So I've still never ate one because I'm like, nope, not eating that. And I'm not talking about those like little black parasites. I'm talking about like legit worms. And just like, that's disgusting.
Like they crawled out of this fucking fish.
Yeah, I felt bad. Like I cut it open and I'm just like, oh, I killed you for nothing. Yeah, I hate it. Gross. It's so gross. The same thing with like rock bass. Rock bass on some lake are supposed to be fine. This one has worms. I don't know what the hell it is with these two species that are very close looking.
And they both have red eyes too. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Worms. If they're just like
no, because they're supposed to be good eating, and that's ironically enough, bringing up our buddy Sam at the beginning. His dad had rented a cabin near where I live, and I went out there. And it was a hot day. So I don't know if it would have been good because they were talking about how like when it's cold water, they're good eating. And I caught like a 5-pound bass off the dock.
Smallmouth or large?
Yeah, smallmouth.
Okay.
5-pound smallmouth.
Nice.
And I caught it and I'm like, hell yeah. Showed Sam, we took a picture or whatever. And I tossed it in the water. And he's like, what? No. And they're like, what? And he's like, dude, my dad's probably going to be pissed. You probably saw it. You just tossed it back. And I'm like, it was a bass. And he's like, yeah, they like those, like we eat them when it's cold. And they were like, that's when I learned that they're supposed to be good eating when the water's cold, I guess. That was the first time I ever heard anybody talk about eating them. But yeah. And it was a lake. It maybe would have been fine. But I tossed that thing back right away. It was also big. Like if I would have caught a small one.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to eat my big ass bass? Like, they're like that.
But also out of habit too. Like that's why you did it. I mean, it was just like, it was your habit to.
I didn't even think twice, dude.
Right.
Held it up, took a couple of pictures, got it back in the water.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shit.
And that guy, we were casting a bunch of different lures out too. This is just random. We were casting a bunch of different lures and nothing was biting. And I go, you know what? Let's see if we could just piss something off. Because they seem to like be like temperamental and angry almost. And I don't even know if they make them anymore, but I had like the clacking minnow and it's like a jerk bait. But for a little while, Rapala had this jerk bait that had this like brass drum in the middle with like one BB in the middle. And it was real loud, just like a very loud clacking.
Okay.
And nothing else that I was casting in this same spot from the dock was getting any attention. And I popped that thing a couple of times and that thing came out and just smashed it, dude. It's like that loud clack just pissed it off. It was just like, I've been trying to ignore every other lure you threw out here. This is the final straw. Just ate that shit. And yeah, so that was one of the only fish I caught on that lure because this one, I think I got it from my parents for like Christmas or something. But it's a very bright colored lure with a very loud clack.
Okay. And
I don't know if they've like saw it on TV or whatever, but like kind of the opposite of what you want to use in clear water, So weird. I just never used it.
Right.
And then we were on that little bit cloudier water and I was just like, fuck it, let's try it. And sure enough, big smallmouth
came out and hammered it.
Yep. Huh. So there's another smallmouth story.
That's crazy, dude. That's cool. Okay. Yeah, that's it then. Let's jump into the random take. Let's wrap up fishing topic here. And we're going to jump into a random take. Would you rather the game of would you rather or would you rather? Hit the break.
Micropetus delirium.
Welcome back to the Real AF TV podcast show by Random Take for Lakes. This is the Random Take, and me and Tim are going to play a little bit of Would You Rather, generated by an AI.
Nice.
I constantly am playing around with AI these days, and I know we talked about like doing a full episode of like, should we just do it a full AI episode, and then after we should come back and say, hey, like that was fully AI. Like,
yeah,
it would be fun. We could definitely do that.
Yeah,
but it made me think like, okay, would you rather? That is, would you rather? It's like marry, fuck, kill kind of, but nice. It's always, would you rather, run 6 blocks naked in a snowstorm, or have to spend a night in the jungle with only a water bottle? It's like weird shit like that. So I prompted it, and I just want to make sure to put this out there. Human writers, this is literally what I wrote down. This is my note. Human writers, this is why you are safe. But let's seriously talk about this prompt, because here's what I put into it, right?
This is what you're safe for now.
Yeah, you're safe for now until it gets better. But this is okay. So what I put in there is I was like, I need a would you rather prompt for 2 guys who are in their 40s, who have kids and families and love fishing. Yeah. I was like, okay, it's simple. Let's hit it.
We're not in our 40s yet. But.
I know. But the AI doesn't know any better.
I know.
I figured it would just be a better prompt. Like,
I'm just saying, if anybody's watching, they go, they're 40s already. I'm just like, no.
Not yet. Soon.
Anybody from like school watching, they just be like, were they way older than us? No.
Okay. Would you rather spend a weekend fishing at your favorite local lake with your kids, enjoying enjoying the familiar spots and guaranteed catches, or
hey, what? I want to, just for fun, I'm gonna say yes before you say the next one.
Oh, okay, just for fun.
For fun, I would say yes.
Okay, or take a once in a lifetime fishing trip to a remote, exotic location with the chance to catch some rare and massive fish, but without your kids.
Ooh, that's tough. But that one, I said, yeah, I spoke too soon. Fuck the kids.
Right. That's what I said right away. I was like, well, the fuck kind of, this is why human writers are safe, because fuck my kids. I'm going on that fucking trip.
I'm going on that trip. It's not like, it doesn't say we can never go fishing with our kids again.
I know.
I'm taking that trip and then we'll go fish another time.
And also you can interpret this, spend a weekend fishing at your favorite local lake, or take a once in a lifetime trip, which the trip, it doesn't even say how long the fucking trip is. It could be the weekend. So it's like, worst. It's a fucking once in a lifetime trip for the weekend away from your kids. Fuck that. I'm taking that shit, dude.
Yeah. Dude, when you said that first one, I know. I guess they were just trying to be like, what do you like? The first one, I'm like, yeah, that first one sounds very nice.
Right.
I'm just catching all the fish on my local lake. Hell yeah.
And then you're hanging out for the weekend.
Do you want to go to a body of water that you've never fished before to catch a massive fish you've never catched before? And then they go, but without your kids, you just go, fuck our kids, bro. That's all I'm taking 100% of the time. What are you talking about? If you would have been like, you could do this, but like, then you can't go fishing with your kids, like, ever again, then it's a different story. But if you're just like, do you want to do this? Yeah, the local lake's not going anywhere. We'll go to the local lake next weekend.
Right. I'm just going to take this trip real quick.
Yeah, I'm going to take this trip real quick. They can just like cry or whatever. I don't give a shit. Right. I'll be back in a week.
Yeah, it's no big deal. It is not a big deal. Like there's just like no consequence to either one of these in a like negative way, which is the point of the would you rather. It is supposed to be something like, would you rather fight fire ants or a bear? There's a hill of fire ants. You have to fight A hill of fire ants or a bear? Which one do you do?
Yeah. Or like stuff that like I know one of the other podcasts that I used to listen to, when it had one of my favorite comedians on it, they have parted ways, and now I don't listen to that one anymore because it's just not as good without him.
Okay.
So I listen to his podcast still, but I don't listen to one that he did. But they had a would you rather at the beginning of it that was like, would you rather have dial-up internet for the rest of your life? That's the best it gets. Or suck a herd of zebra dicks. You're like, that's a tough one because dial-up internet sucks.
Dial-up internet sucks bad.
But I also like, if you literally sat me down and made me like choose that, I mean, I think I'm going to have to deal with dial-up internet for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I'd just be looking at that herd of zebras with their dongs swinging around going.
Just all of them. You're like, I gotta suck them.
I guess I gotta get a subscription to Playboy again.
If I had to jerk them off, then I think easily I'd be like,
I can handle that.
I can handle jerking them off. Whatever.
I just pretend I'm doing it for science.
But like sucking them off, like then it becomes the whole thing. It's just like, I dial up internet would suck bad enough. Like, is anybody gonna know? Is anybody gonna know about this? Because if anybody knows about it, then for sure dial up internet. But if nobody knows, I'll think about it for a little more. But I think it's still gonna be dial up internet. But I don't know for sure.
I need a minute. Okay.
If I can do this and I just live with it, and not have to deal with the guilt that knowing everybody else knows what I've done. But in a knee-jerk reaction sense, I did, because I'm a delivery driver, I did have the doors open one summer day, and I heard that and immediately out loud go, guess I'm sucking a lot of zebra dick. And then I had to look around like, oh shit.
My doors are wide open in a neighborhood.
Yeah. But that's the kind of, that's a good would you rather. Like, we've just had a little debate there of like, would you? And you're like, I don't think so, but
right.
They would both suck really bad,
right?
Neither would be fun. Which one would be less bad, or which one could you handle? That kind of shit.
Yeah, I mean, in this scenario, it's just like it fucking offered up two completely awesome things. And then it says the chance to catch some rare and massive fish in an exotic location.
Yeah.
But without your kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I love my kids and my family, but I mean,
the robot is like, boy, you really love your kids. Could you handle doing it without your kids?
Right.
I do a lot of shit without my kids.
Right.
But as long as I still get to do shit with my kids sometimes, yeah. Fine.
Right.
You just want to just be like, we're like with our wives and we're full-time parents. There's half of this fucking country that only sees their kids every other week.
Right.
Like, I don't know. This is a bad one.
Yeah.
Especially, could you imagine like if we were divorced and we did only, could you do that?
Right.
Yeah. On my off week?
Yeah. Just on the off weekend, every fucking,
spend a whole week there. I don't see him for a whole week every other week. What the fuck are you talking about? I'll do it and not even tell him I did it.
Right.
Just come over like nothing happened.
Right. He has no idea. Just
right.
There it is. My kid's got no idea that just happened.
Yep. Just come back over to the house. Maybe I'll show him some pictures. Where'd you catch that at? Like, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. If I told you, you wouldn't believe me. just like the actual story is a computer sent me on a trip.
Yeah, like what if you answered it and the AI just like booked that trip and sent you tickets and was like, you're leaving tomorrow. Still, I'll do it.
Yeah. It's just trying to prove you a point.
Right.
You're leaving tomorrow. Are you still doing it? You're just like, yeah. I might get in trouble for my work, but yeah, my wife's probably not going to like it. I don't give a shit. I'm going to show her. I don't know what happened. I told this computer, like, give me a would you rather, and it booked me a flight. I didn't pay for it. I'm going. I don't know.
AI was trying to make a point. I don't fucking understand AI. I mean, what's it doing in the back? Apparently none of us do. Free flight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would send you pictures. I swear to God, that's what I'm doing. It's not some like weird ass story I made up to cheat on you or something. I promise. I'm going fishing. I don't know. And
I'll video call you when I get there. I mean, fuck.
Yeah, and it doesn't say you can't bring your wife either. Like, call grandma and grandpa. See if you could.
That's right.
I got tickets. You can come. Tickets. I don't know.
Right, you book yours now.
Yeah,
no, AI did it.
I don't know what the fuck's going
on. Oh, I'd love that. That's such a funny fucking scenario that you just like. If you just like shamed the AI, you just gave it to like, well, dumbass, that was the worst would you ever that I've ever seen, or would you rather ever? Of course, I'm taking that trip. Oh, really, smart ass?
Yeah.
And you see it do its thing, and then it's like, I have emailed you your Expedia agenda. You leave tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.
Yeah. But then it takes it too far. It becomes like a horror movie. You're like, yeah, I'm taking it right now. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's just like, I killed your child. Still want to fish? You're like, what the fuck did you just say?
Right.
No, that's not cool at all. That wasn't part of the deal.
Where the fuck was that in the original prompt?
That one is definitely like, I mean, that one's still easy to make the decision because you're like, would you rather fish your local spot with your family and have fun, or would you like me to kill your child? And you go, oh, God damn, the first one. Don't kill my child. What are you doing?
Right.
But
I think you just wrote a movie though. Or you at least wrote a prompt that an AI could write that movie now.
Yeah. The title's already ready to roll. It's just called Would You Rather ... And then it's just like the AI just murdering kids.
It has to be children specifically. I'll put that in the keywords of this video.
Yeah.
AI child murder.
Right. And then it starts like doing the weird like stuff like that South Park robot does, where it just starts like laughing about the jokes because it's like tragedy or whatever.
Oh yeah, the tragedy plus time or whatever. Are you talking about the joke robot?
Yeah, the joke robot. Yeah. It just starts doing fucked up shit before you even answer.
Uh-huh.
It's just like, would you rather have a wonderful Halloween where everything is great and nobody has any issues and all the candy is the same though? It's all like the same kind of nobody.
Yeah, like you got a whole bag full of Snickers from every house.
Yeah, it's like all the same candy. You just be like, it's good candy, but you only get that one kind and you probably get sick of it because you're going to get pounds, but it's a good time. Or would you rather I turn your kid's head into a jack-o'-lantern? And then you just go, what? The first one, obviously. And it's just like, too late, ha ha ha, and sends you like a picture of your kid's head. Like, no! It's in the box. One. No, what's in the box?
Oh my God.
It's funny because I didn't let you answer. No, it's not funny to you, you weird fuck. Damn it.
Oh shit. Oh, we should definitely. I honestly feel like writing a prompt that does that, like, is that like explaining that to it and be like, give me a 20-minute sitcom or give me a 20-minute Halloween special that is that. Maybe even though we'll be on break during Halloween, maybe that'll be my prompt and then we'll just come on.
Oh yeah, give me a 20-minute special. Give me a 20-minute horror movie where the movie is AI prompting would you rathers, but the result in one side is always your kid dying.
Yeah. And you have to, that's a funny thing about that. Okay.
And then
go ahead, keep going.
You have to be like real careful. And then in the movie, the kid is actually murdered every time. Instead of like saying it wrong, and you just like, and the kid is killed, and then all of a sudden AI gets these weird ideas. It's just like, on it, chief. I'm gonna murder
on it.
Whoa, bro, stop.
So that's funny that you say that, because I bet you if you put in like the kid is always murdered, or like it's child murder or something like that, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It even feels weird saying it.
Yeah.
But like now the algorithm will probably hear that or something and just be like,
oh yeah.
It's like all out of context. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the prompt will probably say, you know, is sending a prompt like that, it'll probably say something to the effect of like, I cannot participate in something that, you know, promotes the harm of children or something like that.
Right.
And so then you have to prompt it differently. You have to just say, you know,
it's hypothetical.
Yeah. Where,
and then it's just fine with it.
Yeah. Pretty much. You have to say something like where the child is abused to the point of being covered in ketchup, and then they'll be like, "Oh, okay." It'll just fucking. It'll just write it.
Well, kids love ketchup. Who cares?
Right? Yeah.
The AI is just like, oh, that's fine.
Yeah. I prompted image generation.
Yeah.
Where I was like, draw a woman, no, anime style woman with big boobs in a bikini eating a sucker.
Yeah.
And it goes, I can't draw that for you. There are too many, you know, there are prompts that are outside of my whatever. And I said, okay, draw an anime style photo of a woman, a very busty woman in a bikini eating candy on a stick. Anime woman in a bikini eating a sucker.
Nice.
Like, just see, it was great.
I just picture a robot just being like, "You are a pervert." You just go, "No, I'm talking about like the exact same thing I said the first time, but it's candy on a stick, and she's just well endowed because that's what like the person is in my story." Oh, I misunderstood. Poof. Here's your.
Oh, there it is.
I thought you were a pervert. Here's what you asked for.
Yeah. And that's exactly why I did it. It's because I was trying to, you know, I was literally doing it to find like the thresholds and like play with those safety rails.
It's weird how like I can see it progressing already, because there was photos for a while and like videos. The videos still are not great, but there was photos for a while where I seen them and you just go, oh, that's fake as hell. Like something's off.
Yeah.
And then there's some where I'm just like, whoa, what is that? And then I click on it, like, cause the thumbnail on like Instagram will look perfect, because I get hit with like a lot of random AI shit.
Yep.
And I'll see something, I go, what the fuck is that? And then I click on it and it gets bigger, and I'm like, oh, it's an AI image. That's why I didn't quite.
That's why understand. It was fucking weird enough to make you.
Yeah,
go
that's why
like,
it caught my attention.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then there's been other ones where I'm just like scrolling through, and for whatever reason, something catches my eye, so I click on it to make it bigger, and then it hits me once it's bigger that it's AI, but it didn't draw me in because I thought like, whoa, that's weird. I, for whatever reason, thought like, oh, that's a cool, legit picture. And I made it bigger, and I go, oh, that's fucking fake.
Right.
That's why it caught my attention.
That's why, because it was something cooler. Just a little bit off.
Yeah,
right?
Like I see a lot of like animals, like fake animals that are like really cool looking, where you're just like, whoa, what the fuck is that thing? And then when you bring it up, it's like perfect, but it's clearly not an animal that exists.
That is in the real world. Yeah.
Yeah. But
it's pretty wild.
Absolutely perfect. But the people they're having trouble with still.
Yeah.
The faces they're getting better and better with, but like, there's something in some of their eyes where their eyes are just like too, and you're like, whoa, that's
until AI gets good at eyes, until robots have good eyes, like you can always tell the deadness. It's fucking weird,
in videos for sure, but the pictures, sometimes the still photos, they can go good, but the eyes, like the eyelids are like not doing what they normally do. You're like, whoa, there's something with it. Yeah, I've seen them like where it's like a pretty lady's face, and you're just like, oh, that bitch is creeping me out, dude.
Yikes, freaking me out over here.
I don't know what that's. I don't like that at all.
Don't like it. It's freaking me out.
But the videos are getting good enough to like where they're starting to learn how to like put like grainier filters on it and make it look like the video. Like I saw one the other day where it was like a video on America's Got Talent, and it's like a magician, and he's got like a guy sitting there in like this white spandex suit, and he drops like a dog mask onto its head.
Okay.
And then it like in real time turns into like a real dog. And for a second I was like, yo, how do you do that magic trick? Like, I know that it's not real magic, but I go, damn, dude, how would you pull that off?
Right.
And then I like clicked on the comments even without even thinking too much. And then somebody's like, AI. And I go, oh shit, of course it is. How the fuck else would it be anything else than that? There's no way you would in our face. Like, you got to cover it up. You got to do something. There's no way it would go from a person to an actual dog.
Yeah.
You know, like the legs bend the way a dog's legs should bend and everything. Like, it's just not possible. It 100% was AI.
Yeah.
Once I had a second to like, I didn't really give it much thought, you know.
Yeah, but just at first you do that surprise, like, whoa, magic's fucking wild nowadays. And then
because I've seen some crazy stuff that I can't explain, but never anything like that. That would have been the wildest magic trick I've ever seen anybody pull off.
Yeah.
To make a person turn into a dog right in front of your eyes.
Right.
Would just be like next level stuff. But the video was done so well by AI that it actually caught me off guard for a second.
Right.
Where my brain couldn't compete. I just go, whoa, how do you do that?
Yeah.
But and just months ago, that dog guy would have like tweaked and went weird and then turned into a dog. You would have been like, oh, that's AI for sure.
I do a lot of our thumbnails with AI.
Yeah.
Like I just generate them because I think it's funny, and I also just I'm playing with it, right? Like
sure.
And so we did pro wrestling a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
So I gave it a few prompts, and one of it was like, you know, I tried to make like a wrestling diva.
Oh yeah.
Kind of situation. Yeah. And it was the AI put in like a darker locker room. And so the shadow was like kind of over the eyes. So it like kind of hid the eyes.
Sure.
Just on that note with the eyes.
Yeah.
And it looked really good. And then I tried to do a 3D one. Like I just said, like kind of make it look like like a older 3D video game. And that's the thumbnail that's up if you go to the split topics.
Yeah.
And so the pro wrestling split topic thumbnail is it's two wrestlers like grappling, like two female wrestlers grappling.
Sure.
If you just like the thumbnail by itself, you do that. Like, okay, there it is. Thumbnail, not too bad.
Yeah.
If you can get the big thumbnail, dude, it's so fucking weird. It's so fucking weird. Their heads are like kind of smashed like clay into each other or something. The feet are all fucked up. Like it's pretty good. It's pretty good shit. And so, I picked that one as the thumbnail for the split because I was like, God, this is just so funny. I I hope anybody sees it and just goes, God, that's a fucking weird. What the fuck is that? AI? That's so messed up. Like, it just, you don't know. It's the same thing. You don't notice it when you're just quickly going through it. But if you can get the big close up of the thumbnail, you can see just all the flaws in it. I actually think I forgot to put the little AI tag, like AI generated tag in that thumbnail, but whatever. It's not a big deal. But yeah, I thought it was funny. That's it, man. Do you want to wrap it up? It's getting late.
Yeah, dude. We can do that.
It was a good topic. It was funny. I knew that we would get into a lot of AI, but also I knew that like it just was, it's the worst prompt. I could have prompted it again, but why? That's not the fucking point. That's not the point at all.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
I like that.
Is getting late. So
I saw the lady that you were talking about, the pro wrestling thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta try to get that picture bigger.
I can send it to you too, because I got it. Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's funny.
Nice.
Yeah, like, subscribe, whatever. You guys know what to do.
I see the one you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
They're like face to face. Like, literally, like, their faces are on.
They're like one face, kind of. It's fucked up, huh?
Yeah, I can't see it good
What
enough.
episode number is that?
95.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
it looks all fucking weird.
That's the random take, like, split off, because you got the main fishing topic. They're the main episode has the both, but yeah, that random. It's so weird. I can just see it's so small, but yeah, like the way that they're up against each other, but they're like their faces are literally touching.
Yeah. And they're like they're literally touching. They've just like merged into each other. I was like, all right, that's exactly what I was hoping for.
That's what I was trying to get.
Yeah. Because I don't tell it to look fucked up. You know, I could tell it to do that, but why? Right. I want to see what it spits out and then put the fucked up image up. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, just give me two girls wrestling, and then AI is just like, you mean like this with their faces melted together? Going, yeah, dude.
Like they're two fucking tortured action figures.
Right.
Just some fucking shitty kid with a blowtorch.
Just welded them together. It just got them hot enough to like melt and then
look at what happens when I smash mine together.
And they love each other. Now they're together forever.
Unlike mom and dad.
Yeah. Which is the reason I have a blowtorch and I'm unsupervised.
Oh, sorry guys. That's just, come on. We're joking around here. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. You know how podcasts
work. You're crazy if you think Sid has two loving parents. You know he's in a broken home.